Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. So yeah, thank you.
So
Yes, yes, it's my pleasure.
yeah, thank you. So as we were talking before, trying to come up with some ideas of activities for our YouTube camp. So our camp has like, so far we have 13 students. I'm not sure how many will show up because it's summertime, but my students are a mix of ages probably 14 to 18, and they're a mix of students that have some experience with YouTube and some that have no experience with YouTube. And so I'm trying to come up with maybe like 6 things for somebody that has no experience with YouTube, 6 things that they could do, like start their channel, like make their, brand it, name it, and all those things. And then 6 things for the students that might have experience. And that's where I'm struggling with. So I came up with, and that's where I also would like to hear from you. In my team, I have a team of 4 of us that are 4 or 5 of us that are trying to come up with ideas. But we thought maybe because you have a YouTube channel that seems to be very successful, that you might have some ideas for the students that have no experience, and then maybe some other ideas for some students that have some experience with YouTube.
Yeah, first of all, when I had created my channel, I was also knowing nothing about YouTube. I was totally new. Okay, so I created my Gmail ID. Okay, and with ID I made a YouTube account. And after making an account, first of all I put videos, and after putting some videos, I come to know that uh, you know, mm, I have to customize my channel. I have to put the channel banner, so many things, how to make thumbnails, and these are the things. So, initially what happens when we start YouTube channel, we really know nothing, okay? And the fact is that when we start doing things, then we find a requirement that what should we do next. Then we go and Google it or find it, how to make a banner, how to customize our channel, how to make a YouTube thumbnail. So these are the most basic things on YouTube. First of all, you should have Gmail ID, and with Gmail ID, there should be an account, YouTube account. And after creating an account, you will have to, decorate it like we decorate our homes. Just like this, we also decorate our YouTube channels with YouTube banner, with so many things. We write our about section, what are we going to do on YouTube, and like after that we create a video and we put the thumbnail, okay, on video, that our video is reflecting to this topic, and just in this way things happen.
Yeah, I think like when I first started, which is now 2 years ago, and like it's been a slow progression for myself. It's been like a hobby. I had no idea. Like I think the first thumbnails that I made were awful because I thought, well, maybe let me just make a PowerPoint with like a PowerPoint slide as a thumbnail. And I now know that that's not really good, and that you really need to make something that is going to look really good on the small little screen that's going to get people to want to click on it. But that is also has to do like with what your video is about, because if you make something that is like has nothing to do with your video, then it's going to be what they call clickbait, and maybe you'll get a lot of people that click, but they're not going to watch. And yeah, so it's been, again, like I knew nothing, like how, and I went to YouTube. How do you start your YouTube channel? What are the first steps? And watch videos on how to do that for sure.
So how did I start my YouTube channel, right?
Yeah. So yeah, how?
uh, First of all, I started my YouTube channel for talking with people. Okay, so I just, I think my first conversation was, not my first video was conversational videos, because I was teaching my students. So in lockdown, I thought that, now I'm sitting idly. So I thought, let's do something productive. So I started putting a mathematics video on my channel. I put 2 3 mathematics video. After some time, some days, I realized that no, this is good time to improve my English and talk with the people all around the world that I was passionate about always. So I I uh, did a conversation with one of my friends, and I put that video on YouTube channel, and I written on this video that if somebody want to talk with me in English, then definitely, they should consult me on that Gmail. Okay, so in this way, people started, coming with my Gmail, and I started talking with them on my YouTube channel, and I talked with so many people from all around the world. Like someone was from Nepal, someone was from Bangladesh, someone was from Pakistan, as well as Kazakhstan. So many people, and I was enjoying. Meanwhile, I thought let me talk with native speakers, native English speakers. So I took the Cambly app to talking with native speakers, and later on in this way, I found this process very enjoyable to talk with people from all around the world.
Yeah, I mean, same here. Like when we started, it was my daughter who wanted to be a YouTuber because she's young and she was 9 at the time, and she's like, I want to do a YouTube channel. So I said, well, let's do something educational, and we were studying Spanish, so she had the idea, well, let's do a similar channel to this one where they're drawing pictures, and the person's drawing pictures and he's like using his hands to teach Spanish. So we're like, okay, let's do that because my daughter's very artsy. And so that's how we get started. Of course, like what I picked to do was not an easy thing to do because it required to have one camera looking down at a drawing board and one camera to look at us, and not anything that's very easy to edit. So, but I was very fortunate that we have a program that I could join for like very little money a year, and I can borrow equipment from them and they could teach me how to do the editing, which is awesome because otherwise I would not have been able to pick something so complicated, right, to start with. But that's what I'm learning about too. Like as far as like doing YouTube is to try to figure out something that is sustainable. Like doing those videos, I do enjoy making them, but they take a lot of time. I think that first video that I made, it took me like, I started over a bunch of times because I was messing up on the editing, and I think it took me like maybe 10 hours to edit a video that is 11 minutes long. And that's not sustainable, right? So now I've been doing more conversations like you and just enjoying talking to people around the world. And it's a much more sustainable thing because we can have a conversation and maybe there's a little bit of editing. Like say we're having this conversation and the video freezes, then I'm going to cut that part out, but I don't have a lot of editing to do. So it's something that I can like keep up with. But I still have those other videos that I make, but they're not being posted as much because they're going to be a lot more effort.
Right. So yes, it's true. It is the truth that when we start our new channel, okay, we have to do lots of hardship to even edit a small part of the video, and it takes hours, and it is reality. Okay, so yes.
Yeah, and I think like another thing too is trying to come up with ideas, like trying to figure out what you're passionate about. Because if you're just like, okay, the most popular videos on YouTube are, video gaming, but you don't like video gaming, then that doesn't make any sense to do that. So like to decide to come onto YouTube to be sharing something that you're passionate about, it's going to be a lot more easier and sustainable, I think. Like for you, like you came up first, you were doing the math, which maybe you are passionate about math, but you also were very passionate about like learning English and speaking to people around the world. So that, probably makes more sense to make those type of videos.